So welcome to this video in which I want to introduce you to our work on Bayesian model selection for a memory fMRI experiment. So in this study, which was a collaboration between the Düzel E Göttingen and the LIN Magdeburg, we addressed the question whether there are brain regions whose activity varies as a function of whether stimuli are later being remembered or forgotten. So early fMRI studies have in fact shown that such an effect, the subsequent memory effect, exists. So there are brain regions which with some accuracy allow to predict whether items are later being remembered or not. So in our experiments involving young, healthy volunteers as well as older subjects aged 50 plus, we showed photographs that were either new to them at the time of presentation or which they had previously seen, here called master images. And subjects were simply asked to categorize these into indoor and outdoor scenes. So this was the encoding session of our memory experiment. And after this session, outside the scanner, there was a retrieval session in which subjects were presented with all images that they had seen in the encoding session, as well as a couple of new images. And this time they were asked to rate them on a 5-point scale ranging from 1 for this item is definitely new to me, up to 5 for I've definitely seen this in the encoding session. And in this way, representing their retrieval success. So this was the retrieval session of our memory experiment. And for the fMRI analysis, we mostly focused on the encoding session, since this is where we had acquired fMRI data, but also incorporating the subsequent memory reports into the modeling of the encoding session. So in order to identify the optimal modeling of fMRI data using this paradigm, we used cross-validated Bayesian model selection, or CVBMS. So this technique takes the fMRI data from several single subjects, as well as several design matrices corresponding to the models to be compared, calculates voxel-wise model quality. This is then integrated at the second level in order to come up with voxel-wise model frequency maps, from which the best fitting model in a group level sense can then be derived voxel by voxel. We here applied CVBMS to a large model space of models varying either the description of the novelty or the subsequent memory effect. And in this video, I want to focus on the memory models, which are also visualized on the next slide. So if we are assuming no memory effect, that is no difference in the measured both signal as a function of later memory response, this would correspond to the red line. The blue lines correspond to categorical memory models, that is assuming categorically different activity levels, depending on whether an item is considered remembered or forgotten. And finally, the green lines correspond to parametric memory models, which assume that the measured both signal scales parametrically with the later given subsequent memory response. So when applying CVBMS to our fMRI dataset, we found that there are regions which prefer the family of memory models over the no memory models, thereby showing a subsequent memory effect. And we also found that model quality decreases with the number of regressors that are used to describe the subsequent memory effect. Yeah, so models which form too many categories based on a subsequent memory response tend to be too complex and will not generalize very well to new data, decreasing their model quality. Within the models assuming a subsequent memory effect, we found that parametric memory models outperform categorical ones. And within this family of parametric memory models, an arc-sine transformation of the subsequent memory response turned out to be superior. So this was this green line in the figure that I showed you before. If we overlay all these model preferences, that is novelty, memory effect, and parametric response, we see that there is a large temporal, occipital, parietal network in young as well as older subjects, which consists of the voxels that are responsible for memory processing in this particular fMRI paradigm. So with that, I want to say thank you. And if you want to know more, want to see more data analyses, feel free to check out the paper, which is available open access.